Well, hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and I am so excited to talk to Arleen Davis today. Now, she is talking to us from China. She's in China with her husband for work there. And so I met her online. She joined our Women Like Me community. And the next thing you know, she is writing in our brand new chapter book. So Arleen is in chapter 10, and the title of her story is Migraine Disease, My Journey of Discovery. And oh my goodness, what a story. So welcome, Arleen.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for doing
Thank you,
this.
Julie.
So first of all, I didn't realize when read your story. I mean, I personally, knock on wood, I haven't had I've had headaches, but I've never had a migraine. But I know
Mhm.
some people that have, but I didn't realize that it was a disease.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. Unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, it's just that people who don't have migraines don't understand that migraine is not a headache. Migraine is a neurological disease. And there's been a lot of new findings in the past 10 years about migraine, and they continue to find new things and understand new things about migraine as research continues. Migraine can be for some people a full body experience. It certainly has been for me from time to time. It can change its course over the years. It can come on when you're younger. It can come on when you're older. It's on a spectrum, like a lot of diseases. It's
Yes.
on a huge spectrum. But yeah, it is not just a headache as a lot of people think that it is. Which is why there is such stigma around migraine, because people just don't understand that you can't just take a pill and get rid of the pain.
Right.
Because for some people, it's not even pain. For me, for example, when I get a migraine, often I don't have pain. Sometimes it's all the other neurological symptoms that I get.
Oh.
Yeah, I get dizzy, I get hot, I get sensitive to light, I get sensitive to sound, I get sensitive to just things around me, the motion around me, the I get irritable. Food tastes funny. I get hungry. I get not hungry. It's just, my body gets
But you
tingly.
don't have a headache.
Right. But I don't have a headache. Yeah.
Right. So that
Yeah.
must have been so confusing all those years.
It definitely has been. It definitely has been. It definitely started out, like I say in my story, it started out connected to the premenstrual syndrome. And
Right.
so I definitely thought it was that. That's what we all thought it was. So we treated it as such. And then I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis when I was 30 after my first child. And I think I thought it was a lot to do with that. And then, it just kind of continued on its cycle on the spectrum, and other things kind of came in. I got really dizzy. I went through a stage where the dizziness settled in, and then I thought it was vertigo. And so, I just like, oh,
Wow.
I have vertigo, I have vertigo, I have vertigo. And I would wake up and get out of bed and like go down the hallway like this and, go into the bathroom and like, oh my gosh, like I almost fell over into the toilet and
Yeah.
such. And then after that, I would be like, oh no, I feel nauseous. And then, oh wait, I would get that like a sinusy kind of pressure and the pain. Then I would think, oh no, it's a sinus headache, it's a sinus infection. It's just because then your nose would drip. That's
Right.
another sign of or another symptom of migraine. You can have like a sinus discharge, nasal discharge, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's not a sinus infection because a sinus infection, it's green and so you can see it's
Yeah.
gross. Um, but with a migraine, it's clear. And so I always, okay, sinus. So, take some sinus medication. You might get rid of some of the sinus pressure, but you're not getting rid of the sinus, or sorry, the nasal drip. And so I thought it was that. And then I'd end up in bed with the pain, and it was just one thing after another, after another, after another. And then eventually it was like, okay, now I, did the research and realized I was actually suffering from migraine disease. And
Wow.
yeah.
The thing that what really struck me when I was reading your story is how it would affect your judgment as well. And some
Oh my
like
goodness. Yes.
Yeah, like it was
Yeah.
almost like you went crazy for a little minute or two
Or days.
or days. Yeah.
Honestly, it's funny.
Yeah.
I recently met, well, I've known this woman for a while. She's not a colleague of mine, but she's a colleague of my husband's. I recently was talking to her about migraines, and she also suffers migraines, and she has very similar symptoms to me, and we just connected on this. And she was saying the same as me, that you go into this cognitive fog because migraines, it's I can't remember the science around it. I'm not very good with details at
Yeah.
all.
That's
But
okay.
it does so it's a neurological disease, so it does
Yes.
affect your brain. And so what happens is it does something to like the way your brain, like it does something to the neuroscience of your brain and whatnot. People who are listening to this and have that background are going to be like, it's this. But right now, I can't think of
Yeah.
the science.
That's okay.
Anyways, so the days leading up to it, and sometimes the days coming out of it, and certainly the days during it, it's you just can't think. You go into this fog, and your words come out backwards. It's like you have dyslexia when you talk, or
Wow.
dyspraxia, or dysphagia. I just yeah, see, I can't think of it right
Yeah.
now. Anyways, um, it's like you can't think straight. Words will not come to you. Your words will come out jumbled. They'll come out the wrong way. You'll be talking and you'll be thinking of the thing you want to say, and you'll be mid sentence, and all of a sudden it's like a wall comes down in front of you, and it's like all of a sudden your sentence gets cut off, and you're like, I can't think of what I was going to say next.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like
Yeah.
you just can't think, and it's so frustrating. It's frustrating when you're with your family. It's frustrating when you're at work. It's embarrassing because you'll be with other people who are very intelligent, and you're intelligent, you're smart, and you just feel like
Yes.
such an idiot. You feel like such a fool because you know what you're talking about, but you don't feel like you feel like you've lost your mind. You feel like you've lost the ability to be intelligent. You feel like you've lost the ability to talk about anything. Like,
Well, yeah,
I
to
know about
communicate
migraines. I've done all
properly.
this research. I know all these words, but right now I can't think of them. And
Wow.
I know, like yesterday, I was out. It's been rainy. That's a
Yeah.
trigger. The air pressure is a trigger.
Oh,
Anyways, there's been stuff going on in the last few days, and I know I'm coming into a migraine because I've felt the symptoms, and so I know my brain is a bit off today. And so I had some notes,
yeah.
but they're on the device that I'm with you on,
Okay.
because that's the one that was able to connect. So I don't have them in front of me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not able to find those words today. So that's just the way that it goes.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, things like that. But even being able to find simple words. So it's similar to menopause when women go through menopause and they hit that brain fog part. When you're
Yeah.
like, I saw a funny video the other day, and it's like, I need you to go do that, that stuff that you bring home from school, and you have to do it, and
Yeah.
you have to take it back to school so your teacher can correct it. That stuff. What's it called? And the kid's like, my homework. Yes. Can you please go do that? Simple things like that, or go pick up that thing to put words on paper. What's that thing called? A pencil. Yes. Can you go get the pencil, please? Like things like
Yeah.
that, and just like
Yeah.
your words will not come to you, and
Yeah.
you feel defeated. You
Yeah.
feel like, yeah,
Well, it must,
it really lowers your self-esteem in those
yeah.
moments.
The scariest thing I read when I was, of course, when I was reading your story was you woke up in the middle of the night and you couldn't see.
Yeah.
Like how
That happened.
terrifying that must have been.
Oh, the first time. Oh my goodness. Wow. I was in China the first time it happened. And I was on the coach because I was having a migraine. And so I get up in the middle of the night, and sometimes when I have a migraine, I have to move. I just have to I can't lay in bed. I don't like the way it feels. So that's another thing. The way things feel on you. So I had to pace. And so I get up in the middle of the night and I was pacing. And when I was ready to go back to sleep, I decided to lay down on the couch, fell asleep. And when I woke up a couple hours later, I'd say it was probably like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I opened my eyes and couldn't see anything. So I was like, okay, you need to like rub your eyes or whatever, like you
Yeah.
just haven't adjusted. And we had a big, long window in like a big, tall window in our living room. And I thought, oh, maybe the curtains aren't open. And I thought, no, that's not right because there's always light peeking in, right? So I
Yes.
thought, that's not right. So it's like, so I tried and I adjusted and adjusted. And all of a sudden it dawned on me that it's nothing to do with the environment. It's my eyes. Like I can't see. And the panic
Wow.
set in. And so I knew where I was. And so I kind of made my way around and I was just like, holy crap, like I can't see. What am I supposed to do? And I knew I had a migraine. And so I sat and just kind of like thought about it for a minute. I tried to be like rational and practical about it, sort of thing, and not panic. And so I sat there and kind of like I just closed my eyes and tried to think calmly about it. And it came back, like it started to come back within probably 3 or 4 minutes. So I didn't freak out. I didn't yell and scream because we had both of our daughters with us at the time. And so it kind of came back. So I went to bed with my husband and was like, honey, like I was just blind for a couple of minutes. And he was like, whatever,
Yeah.
like have to sleep. And so I just thought, just go back to sleep and deal with it in the morning. Cause I don't know why, but that is always my mindset,
Yes. Yeah.
which is not smart. It's not a good thing to be like that, but it's just who I am. So anyways, I never did follow up with it, which
Mm.
is, I'm going to say right now, don't ever do that. Don't ever, ever do that to anybody who ever listens to this podcast. Don't ever do that. But I think it's because I was here in China. I felt fine the next morning. Um, my mom has had a similar episode. She doesn't believe she has migraines. She believes that hers are sinuses because she's had sinus polyps removed and she's always had
Mm.
sinus issues her entire life. And she's had trigeminal neuralgia. She's had operations for that, and operation, not more than one, and things like that. And so she believes she has sinus issues, and that's that for her. So she's had a blind episode as well. And
Wow.
so in my head, I was just kind of like, I'm not going to worry about it. Like it went away. I have no pain. I have no other symptoms. It's a one-time thing. I Googled it, of course, because
Yes.
that's what modern day, that's what we all do. We all
That's
go
what
to
we
the Google
do.
doctor.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, that can happen with migraines. And so I was having a migraine at the time. So I let it go at that. And so I'd been to the doctor here either before or after that and decided, no, it must have been after that. And, tried to address the migraine thing. And it just didn't go anywhere. And so I was just kind of frustrated and thought, well, forget it. I'll just deal with it later. And so because of our international insurance, because we're here in China, we're non-residents in Canada, so we can't access the Canadian health system without,
Right.
filling out forms and,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. That's a bit frustrating.
Yes.
So anyways, moving forward, had another episode in Canada a couple of years ago. And that one didn't scare me because it did happen before. And so I was at my friend's house. Our house was being ripped down and rebuilt. And so I was living at my friend's house up the road from where our house is. And I had a really bad episode of migraine. My body was going numb down my left side, things like that. And that can happen with migraine as well. It mimics stroke. It's called a hemiplegic migraine. And at the time, I didn't know that, but I could barely made it home in the car and got to her place. Of course, I was panicking on the inside, but holding it together on the outside because that's what us women do.
Yes, that's right.
I'm fine, I'm fine. I just need to have a quiet space. And so I did all that. And then I thought, no, I'm going to go lay down. Like I need to lay down. And so eventually I had something to eat and went to bed and slept it off. And so woke up in the middle of the night in their basement and everything's pitch black. I thought, oh, but they're dark. They have a dark basement and there's one
Right.
little window where there's a bit of light. And I thought, gosh, it's really dark down here. And I've been awake in the middle of the night in their basement before. I thought, no, it's dark. And so I closed my eyes and I thought, is it that dark? Because I thought, is it that or is it that I'm having a blind episode? And so I opened my eyes and I looked around and I thought about it and I thought, no, I can't see anything. And so I knew enough to like
Mm.
really check around. And like there was no doubt in my mind I was blind again. Again, I was having a really bad migraine. And so I decided to go back to sleep. And I laugh because
Oh,
it's not funny at all. Again, don't ever do this. Please get
yes.
up and get help and go to the hospital. Um, But I laugh at myself because again, I made the stupid choice, and I'm going to say stupid because it was a stupid choice to just go back to sleep and deal with it in the morning. Because again, in the back of my head, I had this intuitive feeling, and I trust my gut intuitively. That's a whole other side of my life. But I intuitively, I just knew that nothing was wrong, that it was a migraine, and I thought I'm going back to sleep and I'll see how I feel in the morning, which is what I did. I got up and I was telling my friends about it for over our coffee in the morning, and they're looking at me like, "Are you crazy?
Oh
Like, you need
dear.
to go to the hospital." And I'm like, "Yeah, I probably should." And like, I was feeling a bit like numb in my face and stuff. And they're
Oh
like, "Will you
goodness.
please go to the hospital?" And I'm like, "Yes, I will." And like, "Are you going to drive yourself?" And I was like, "Yeah, I feel fine." But of course, then the panic was setting in because then I
Yes,
was
of
like,
course.
right. So I got myself to the hospital.
Oh,
And the doctor took one look at me and was like, "Why did you not come to like?" And then it was this like, well, now I feel like an idiot for not coming in. So,
yeah.
anyways, got there, everything was fine. They did the MRI, CT scan, and all that, and there was nothing abnormal at that time. But they're like, that doesn't mean something didn't happen. But in the moment, there's nothing. So I was very fortunate because that got me into a neurologist's clinic that they have on Fridays in New Brunswick at it was a St. John, New Brunswick, their regional hospital, or city hospital, whatever, the main one. The neurologist has a clinic on Fridays for like, it's a stroke clinic. And because they couldn't rule out a stroke,
Mm,
they were like, "We're going to get you into this clinic." And so the next day, so that afternoon, I had a CT scan, MRI, whichever one it was, I can't even remember now. And they got me into that clinic the next day. And that's the
mm.
first time I'd ever seen a neurologist for migraines. And that was two
Wow.
years ago. And it was just like,
Wow.
it was like I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
Actually, that's not what I believe. I believe I was meant to be there. Like that was my
of
journey.
course.
And that's where I
Yes.
was meant to be.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's just the way it was happening. And
Yeah.
so she didn't think I had a stroke. She couldn't rule it out, but she thought it was migraines.
Yeah.
And so we went from there. I started medication, which, you know, helps, I think, a bit, but I have a board of medication now for that, um, which helps 99% of the time, unless I have a
Wow.
pounding headache.
Yes.
It
Wow.
helps all the other symptoms, but
You
not the
know,
headache.
the frustration, like when I read your story, just the frustration of all those years
Mm,
that you're dealing with all of this,
yeah.
and talking about even that one time, I can't remember were you at a school or you went into the building and then you stuck it out as long as you could and then had to just get out of there because you were just
Yeah,
so
school.
feeling so terrible.
Mm.
How was it? How did it affect your marriage at all? Like
Oh, of
because
course.
yeah, because you can't see. Like it's not like you have a broken arm or or something like
Yeah.
that. So it's it must have been hard on him as well.
I have an amazing husband, I have to say. He has always 100% supported me and has been um, kind and caring and loving, and has always, what can I do? Has always wanted, like, he's a fixer. Like, what can I do? How can I help you? Kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
But I've always felt like such a burden, like, because it's always like, and I think it's my own projection on to I think I project that onto him. Like, now I'm the burden because now we can't go do this because here now I have a headache. So
Right.
oftentimes I would push through the pre stuff, knowing full well what's coming. I would push through that,
Yeah.
knowing what would happen when I did push through it so that we could do things, sort
Yes.
of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I would do that so that he or they, we have two daughters, wouldn't miss out on things.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. But you do that as a mom, right? Like, you
Yes.
just,
Mm-hmm.
you would do it whether it was a migraine, if it was,
Yeah.
a cold, if it was a broken arm, if it
Yes.
was, it doesn't matter what the illness or the symptoms are, you do that, right?
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
as a mom, but as a parent, as a carer, as
Oh,
a,
of course,
empathetic
of
person.
course. And you talk about that in your story. You talk about, I think, were you going to the beach or a park?
The
And I
park
think
that
they had
day.
to turn around and take you home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That must have been so hard for you and the girls. And for
Yeah.
you too, like the guilt and
Yeah.
all of that that comes along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, the girls and I have had times when when we've been out and I remember there was another time in Qatar, I had them out at a mall. Malls are a big thing in Qatar. And we were having a really good time. And I remember we sat down to eat and I wasn't feeling well. And I thought, I just need to eat. I just need to eat. But my head was kind of in that wobbly
Mm.
stage. And I knew something was off. And I guess at that stage of the migraine thing, I guess I didn't realize that that was the preemptive stuff. And we sat down to eat and it just wasn't going away. And I thought, I need to go home. And I didn't want to
Oh.
give into it. But on the drive home, everything just started to like
Oh.
wobble and it was everything I could do to hold it together to get us home. And
Wow.
it's like, and so it's that guilt of I put us all in danger.
Yes.
And if you've never been
Yeah.
to Qatar, driving there is not safe. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, 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 for
So
sure.
it's just like, so then there's that guilt of like I should have never gone out in the first place, right? But I didn't
Yeah.
know. Like,
No, of
so you're
course.
driving home, I'm feeling like I may have to pull over and either throw up or, you know,
Yeah.
soil my
Oh,
pants or whatever the case is going to be.
oh,
So I got the window down, we got the radio blasting to keep me aware
yeah.
because you feel like you're going to lose your consciousness. Not like not
Oh,
pass out, but you just feel like you're going to lose your ability to even be aware of what is happening, kind of
wow.
thing.
Wow.
And so, I got us home and we were fine because it's like a 30-minute, 40-minute drive from where we lived into the main area there.
Yeah.
And like things like that would happen, like with the
Yeah.
migraine. And it was awful.
That
Things
is
like that. But
awful.
mm,
That's terrible. So
yeah.
once you got the diagnosis, did anything change? So that was two
Um,
years ago, you're saying you
that
were
was 2 years
diagnosed.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years? Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay. So what
Um,
changed? Did it make it like was it just thank goodness now I know, so I
the
know what
biggest
I'm
thing that changed is what I felt like I could take some of the responsibility off of me. That was the big thing that changed me. It just felt like such a relief that someone acknowledged the fact that what I already knew, what I was telling people was real,
yeah.
right? Because I was basing it all on everything that I found out, everything that I felt, everything that I um, confirmed on Google. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All the
Yeah.
research papers, because it wasn't just what I, Googled. It was like I went to research papers. I did talk to a couple of doctors about it, and they were like, yes, you likely have this, but they weren't neurologists. You know what I mean? And they
Right.
weren't able to give
Right.
me medication for it because they didn't. Actually, there was one doctor who tried to give me what are they called? I can't remember the name of the medication. Anyways, and at the time, I wasn't willing to take it because I was afraid it was going to interfere with the medication I take for ulcerative colitis. And they didn't
Okay.
understand that at the time. And
Right.
because of my own fear and anxiety over it,
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
that was in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a huge relief. It was like
Hmm.
finally I have this professional, like this neurologist
Yeah.
who is giving me um I
Well,
don't know, like
validation almost.
validation. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Y-
Validation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That what I have is real.
I spoke with a lady a few days ago. I did a podcast with her, and she went on a trip to Europe and ended up getting bit by a tick. She didn't realize it at the time what happened, but she got very, very sick. And then it was 6 to 7 years of doctors. She was so weak that she would have to sit down to make a sandwich,
Oh my
like
goodness.
just
I
to
think I
get
was
up. Yeah, she was,
just looking
yeah.
at her. Yeah.
And I thought, and so yours is very, similar to that. Like I can't imagine, thank goodness I haven't experienced this kind of trauma with my body, but it must be just so frustrating to go through something where people don't really understand it.
Mm,
And she
yeah.
had a lot of people saying, well, maybe, you need to get out of the house, you need to get more exercise, you need
Oh,
to do this, you need to do that.
oh.
And she just couldn't because she was
I had a yeah.
so sick, just
I
so
had a
sick.
doctor here tell me I just needed to get 30 minutes of exercise and get more oxygen to my brain.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, really?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and yeah, just very,
uh,
very half. I
yeah,
actually, now that I think about it, I have a sister that has fibromyalgia, and the same thing.
mm, yeah,
Lot of trouble, lot of struggles going through,
yeah,
trying to get that diagnosis. Like
yeah.
something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong with me.
That's such a hard
And
thing to diagnose
oh,
because
yes,
the
for sure.
symptoms overlap with so many other things. And I think
Yeah.
the same thing with migraine because migraine can affect
Yes.
your whole body. And I mean, some of the symptoms that I've had overlap with perimenopause. And so honestly, lately, when I've been looking at that, I thought maybe it was just perimenopause. Like maybe that's all that it was. But then I think, well, no, because some of these symptoms started long before perimenopause.
Yeah.
Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like your head just goes down that
Yes.
road and it's like, well,
Yes.
maybe it wasn't that, maybe it was this. But
Yeah.
all I know now is that with the medication that the neurologist gave me, the preventative medication, I think has definitely lessened the impact.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's lessened the the number of times I'm experiencing it, but the abortive medication is like I'm like I can take that within 30 minutes. It's like ugh, I can have 8 to 10 hours, and sometimes it just takes it away completely, and I don't
Oh, oh,
with
well,
it.
that's good. So you
Yeah,
catch it if you catch it in time.
yeah,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
nice. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
And sometimes, like I said, it doesn't. It depends on what kind. If it's the kind that comes in behind my eye, then I,
yes, yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
I have a newfound appreciation and understanding of migraine because again, I just thought migraine people that had migraines had really bad headaches. But when you start to describe all of those symptoms,
yeah.
it takes over your life.
It does. It takes over your life because you're always, it's originally I wanted to call the story something about the stalker, but I
Oh
felt like that
yes.
was too negative.
Oh
Like I didn't
yes,
like that
yes.
idea of the negative, but that's
Yes.
honestly what it feels like. You're always like constantly on guard of, am I going to get a migraine? Like every time I think about leaving the house, I have to think about, is it sunny out? Is it going to get sunny out? Do I need my sunglasses? Do I need to bring a hat? Because I find it's the sun that comes down this way that affects me more than sun coming directly at me.
Oh,
And so then I think about, okay, are we going downtown? So we live in Nanjing, China, but we live outside Nanjing. So we take the subway down. So are we going to go down? Are we taking a DD, so a taxi, or are we going to take the subway? Well, if we're taking a DD, you never know what kind of driver you're going to get.
mm.
Often the drivers here would do the stop start thing, the stop start
Oh
thing.
yeah.
So am I going to get nauseous? Do I have ginger
Yes.
capsules with me?
Yes.
Things
Yeah.
like that. How long are we going to be out? What is the weather going to be like? If we're going to be out for a long time, am I going to be able to handle that? Because there's always there's 9 million people who live in Nanjing. So
Yes.
there's going to be a lot of people out and about. Is it going to be too much sort of thing? So I have to think about all of that. Am I going to have a migraine? I have an issue with committing to a date for anything. And I've had this issue
Oh,
for a very long time. And it's only dawned on me in the last like probably year that the reason I have that issue is because of my migraines. I hate to commit to
mm,
anything because that means I have to anticipate. I have to have that anticipatory anxiety of whether or not
yeah.
I'm going to be able to make it because of anxiety. I
Yeah.
don't want to commit to what are we doing on the weekend? What are we
Right.
doing tomorrow? What are we doing for supper tomorrow? Because I might really want steak tomorrow, but I might wake up with migraine and have to have applesauce and a piece of toast.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
There's no planning.
I can't
Day
plan
by
for
day.
anything. And I haven't been,
Wow.
and I think that affected our family as well because
Yeah.
I've always had to go, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Yeah. That's a tough,
I know we
so
planned
tough.
that, guys. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry we can't.
Yeah.
And that hurts. It
Yeah.
hurts them and it
Yes.
kills me as a mom, kills me as
Yeah.
a wife. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great that you've got a diagnosis at least
Mm,
because then at least now you know 100% what you're
yeah.
dealing with.
Yeah.
And and yeah, it's quite the story. So everybody, you should read her story because it's quite an amazing story. So
Thank you.
Arleen, while I've still got you, what
Yes.
about the writing process?
The writing process.
Yeah, tell us about that. How was that writing your, because
Um,
is this the first story you've written, or have you written before?
okay, so I wrote my first story that I wrote was with you again, Julie, in
Yeah.
the first one, the what was the title of that book?
Oh, that's
Get
right.
big.
That's right.
The Wild Women Rising, the
Yes.
sacred.
Yes. And didn't you call it Stalker in that
No, that one was.
one? I know.
Oh
Sorry,
goodness.
I there's so
And
many
no, and
stories I
I'm sorry
lose
too
it.
because my memory
Yeah.
is not very good.
Yeah.
That one was called. Da-da-da-da-da. Let me look, let me look, let me look. Where is it?
I forgot you wrote in that book.
I almost did too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. That one was Wild Women Rising. I'm looking. Um, oh, that was about me being pregnant and how much I didn't enjoy it.
That's right. That's right. Now I remember. Okay, I know the story now.
And that one was
Okay.
very raw. That was a raw
Yes.
writing piece because
Yes.
I wrote that in the day because you were looking for someone to fill that last spot in the book. And I was
That's
like,
right.
and I've been wanting to do the writing and I had already contacted you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do it. And I had
Yeah.
12 hours because of the time difference.
Yes.
And I was like, and I already had a little bit written about it. And so I just finished it up and I only edited it myself. And let me tell you,
Ah,
it's raw.
yeah.
Um, and so I'm not a writer. It's not my background at all. I have a background in mental health, community mental health support. I worked in so community mental health support as a um, oh my goodness, see, my brain is now
Yeah. That's okay.
flashing here.
That's
Anyways,
okay.
I worked in Ontario as a mental health caseworker for people with serious mental health issues
Ah,
for 10 years. And then I stayed in that sort of field for another 3 or 4 years. And then when we moved overseas, I got into the field of education and worked with English second language and then teaching kids to read, teaching students, I should say, because it wasn't just small children, to
yes.
read. And so that's kind of was my career stuff.
Yes.
And I loved every minute of all of it,
Yeah.
challenging as it
Yes.
has been. So when, so when I decided, but I've always wanted to tell my story because there's been a lot.
Yes.
Um, and so this was such an opportunity to jump off that to
Yeah.
jump off that ledge to just bite in and do it. So I thank you for that opportunity. I think what you
Oh.
do is amazing. And I've
Oh.
shared this with everybody, the fact that you're out there and that you're doing this for women, women supporting women. I love that you do this.
Oh, thank
So
you.
thank you for doing that for
Oh,
women.
well, I
I really
appreciate that.
appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I
You're
love
welcome.
doing it. Love doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the best thing about doing it is now your story is out there. And so if there's somebody,
Yeah.
another woman, or even a guy,
Yeah.
that is struggling with
Exactly.
something similar to what you had, you
Yeah.
can be that light.
Exactly. And they
And
no longer feel alone and
yeah,
scared
and I
to be
think a
in.
lot of people, a lot of times women, I've had lots of women who've said, "Oh, well, my story's like no
I
big deal."
Yeah.
But the thing is that it is a big deal, and there
Yeah.
is somebody out there.
I agree.
Somewhere out there, somebody needs to hear it. So I
Yep.
appreciate you for diving in and getting it done because I know how difficult it is.
Yeah.
But it's fabulous. I think you did a really great job, and I think that it really, as I read it, of course, I was working with you through the process, but when I sat down for my final read of it, I was just like, wow, like this is amazing that somebody went through all of this and not knowing what was wrong,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that yeah, that's spectacular. And I hope that you go on to write more because you actually
I
write very
definitely will
well.
be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
no,
Yeah, I
you're
definitely will
welcome.
be working on my writing craft.
Yeah. So
It's
if
something I
you,
want to perfect. Not perfect. I
yeah,
just, I understand that. I mean, I'm never going to be an elegant writer. That's not who I am. I'm not I'm not ever going to pretend to be that.
yeah,
But I definitely have lots of things to talk about, to write about. Um, to share. I have a very spiritual side of me that I want to talk about, that I want to share, that I think is
Ah,
important.
wonderful.
Um, and yeah, that has helped me get through a lot of this stuff.
Well, and
And
you've traveled all over, and not just traveled, you've lived in some very
yeah,
unusual places in the world.
yeah. So we lived well, we lived in Qatar and we've lived here in China. So those are the two
Yes.
places
And
that we have
Canada.
chosen to live in. And Canada, of
And
course, right?
Canada.
In
Don't
Canada.
don't leave out
Yeah.
Canada.
No, of course, the Maritimes.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they've each held a very, they've each been very important to us,
Yeah.
as individuals, as families. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, they've provided some real balance in our lives
Oh,
for
for
different
sure.
reasons. So
Yes, for
yeah.
sure. Okay, well, I want everyone to know that this is the book. It just came out. It's Women Like Me, the space between before and after. So that space in the middle where you're going through it, you haven't quite got there yet. And Arleen is in chapter 10 in the book, Arleen Davis. So pick it up, have a read, and reach out to her. Let her know what you think, and if you have any questions, reach out to her. So, do you have any final words of encouragement that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Two things. If you are suffering with migraines, I encourage you to look into two things. Number one, the study coach. I think she's amazing. She doesn't just talk about dizziness, she also talks about how to address.
Is this a
Uh,
book or someone
nope, this
online
is
or?
someone online.
Oh, and what's it
I just
called
think
again?
she's the study coach.
The
I think
Steady
she's
Coach.
fantastic. She just gives some really good, um, kind of hands-on, tangible information about how to deal with dizziness, but it's very adaptable to different things about how to address like pain or other symptoms kind of thing. It's just
Hmm.
very tangible. I really like it. It's very grounded and very just really good. So I would encourage you to look into her, the study
Yeah,
coach. The other thing, yes, reach out to me if you ever even want to discuss migraine symptoms. I think there's so much good information out there.
yeah,
Anyways, the other thing is if you've ever thought about writing, do it. Just do it. Pick up that pen, pick up your computer, your typewriter, whatever it is, and
yeah,
just do it. Don't be afraid.
yeah.
Your story is worth it. I promise.
Absolutely. Oh, that just got me in the heart. That's a good
Uh,
one. Thank you for that, Arlene. I
you're so
appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you're
Thank you for having
welcome.
me, Julie. This has been
Oh,
fun. I was really nervous this morning, but I'm so glad I did it.
oh no, I'm so glad you did it. This is going to be fabulous and it's going to help many people out there. So thanks again, Arlene, and all
Thank
of
you.
you out there who have been watching or listening to this episode of Women Like Me, Stories in Business. We'll see you again next time. And I'm going to have some information in the show notes on how you can find Arlene if you would like to reach out and talk to her. So that those will be there. So take care,
Great.
everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.